The views expressed on this episode of the Came to Believe Recovery podcast do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Recovery Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this episode should not be taken as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. KHLT and Take 12 Recovery Radio are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. Well, greetings, my friends. I am the Monty Man from Take 12 Recovery Radio, and this is the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast. And now, here are your Came to Believe Recovery podcasting broadcasters to launch us forth on this week's show.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Alicia, and welcome to the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast. I'm here with Monty Man, and no Tom today, but sometimes that's okay. We kind of like to be alone sometimes.
Tom,
Tom,
where are you, Tom?
He's in Florida this week doing some big things, so we can hold it down without him sometimes.
Yeah, we can't indeed. Let me see my mixing board is acting up. Yeah, so you and I are doing this thing, and we are talking about what this week?
Asking for help. Whoa.
I don't wanna.
And surrender. I guess that falls in the same category.
Yeah.
But yes. And do we do it? And is it biblical? And all the things.
So before we get in, so I gotta do this little promo before we get into the topic about next week's show.
Okay.
So next week's show, we're doing something a little different. We're welcoming a couple of guests on the show. Well, let me just tell you about them. When sobriety meets wellness, spirituality, and a sexy, fun, and fulfilling life, host Michaela, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name, a health coach, business coach, and meditation guide, along with Aaron, a health coach and sobriety mentor, as they lead you on a transformative journey towards empowerment, joy, and fulfillment, alcohol-free. This comes from their website. Explore a variety of paths to sobriety as we seamlessly merge AA principles, wellness practices, and spirituality. Our podcast is for people at every stage of their journey, providing insight, stories, and actionable tips to navigate the exciting possibilities of an alcohol-free life. The website is twosobergirls.com, and evidently they've got a huge following. And Tom met them. I'm not quite sure how he met them, but he was intrigued with them and wanted to invite them on the show. And I guess they're going to have us on at some point on their podcast. They've already interviewed Came to Believe's Chief Development Officer, Renee Reynolds. If you want to listen to her interview, Alicia, you can go to twosobergirls.com, and her interview is on there. So I listened to their podcast, and it's good stuff. It's just good stuff. Twosobergirls.com is the website. They will be on as our special guests on next week's.
How exciting.
Yeah. So it's important for members of the recovery community that may have different takes on things to rub shoulders with each other, because the active addiction community is huge, right? And they certainly rub shoulders with each other. So we need to too. And so I'm always in favor of being supportive of other methods, as long as they don't, contradict biblical principles, which we're about. And they don't, as far as I can see. So, excited about that coming up. And then today, before we get into the topic, let's see if we have a mailbag.
I hope so.
There's mail in the mailbag, so open it now.
It's that time once again to open up the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast mailbag, where you send in your questions, your comments, your likes, your dislikes, whatever, to Monty, M-O-N-T-Y, at cametobelieverecovery.org. All right, we have two. Our first one comes from our friend Gall, which we hadn't heard from in a while. Gall writes and says, Happy New Year to you as well, because I had sent him a Happy New Year note. Also to Alicia and Tom. I do appreciate your channel, which, as mentioned before, I have been listening to for quite some time. You have helped my sobriety journey and also to understand and been a guide with AA material such as AA Comes of Age, Language of the Heart, and the 12 Traditions. I have become a changed man since my first spiritual awakening, and especially today we received some sad news. My brother-in-law passed away, and as I'm writing to you, my wife and I are on our journey to Madrid to meet the rest of our family and lay him to rest. The news, especially at this time of year, has come as a great shock as he is very young. However, thanks to the program, I know I'm not alone. God bless you, my brother in Christ, and I really appreciate your greeting. It could not have come at a better time, Gall. So our heart and prayers go out to you, brother. Yeah, particularly when it's a surprise like that and it hits you, ouch. That's a big ouch. It's a big ouch. But like Galt says, he's got the program to lean on, which means he's got God to lean on, and he's not alone. There was a time in my life when if something like that had happened, I was alone, and it was a lot of it had to do with my own poor decisions. And yeah, so.
And then we would cope with things that were not beneficial, right?
That's right. Yeah, we would find some way to soothe the pain, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're from the treatment world, we call that medicating oneself. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, Gall, we love you. And
yes.
keep up the good work, and hopefully we'll hear from you when you get back. The second one is in response to one of our TikTok posts. So we take, I take anything I produce on Take 12 Recovery Radio. I usually make 3 TikTok posts of each show and post them on TikTok with a little thing that says full episode at, and where they can find the full episode. And so we're getting a lot of response on TikTok. If you go to take12radio.com and just click on the TikTok link, you can sign up for there and see our TikTok post.
Negative response or positive?
Yeah. This
I would think negative on TikTok.
Is let's see here. Let me see if I can find. There it is. Has posted before, and I just thought, well, let's
talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So this comes from Unstoppable Honky. That's his handle, or her handle, not sure. And this was a show we did on powerlessness, but we were talking about now that we've recovered, we're no longer powerless. So it's actually, if Unstoppable Honky had listened to the whole show and not just the TikTok clip, they may have realized that we may not disagree as much as they think we do. Mm-hmm. But there is a part of this that is very interesting. This person says, "Oh God, I'm so glad I got away from the
Come on, Monty.
Perpetrators of powerless. I mean, let's be for real. If God existed, do you really think he'd want us powerless? Or do you think he'd want us enjoying all these wonderful substances? I mean, he gave us moderation. We're not powerless until we admit it. I don't want to sit and obsess about my addiction in rooms anymore because I can use helpful substances in moderation. I used to believe I was powerless, but today I'm truly free. No one is powerless until they admit they are. The steps are a toxic, broken system. You don't need them.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what
Well,
say
maybe the
you?
first thing I thought of is like, then he's not an addict if he can moderate. And we don't know what substance he's talking about. It might be psychedelics. I
He
don't
might be
know.
microdosing with mushrooms for health reasons. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And maybe he's not an addict.
Maybe not.
And I don't think he's a believer.
Yeah, he says, if God existed, I don't think somebody who believed in God would say if.
Yeah, I don't think
You know,
so.
I,
And
I,
if
I
he,
don't mean to unstoppable honky. I don't mean to be making an assumption, but correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free.
right. Well, if he saw you on TikTok, he's probably not listening to this show, anyways.
Right. That's very true. But who knows?
But it's
So-
hard to get details and to talk back when we only have a little snippet of what he
Right.
said
Right.
or she said. But I think it's a guy. I don't know.
And they're right. We're not powerless. I mean, we are powerless. But you
On
don't
our
have
own
to admit
power.
you don't have to admit you're powerless for you to be powerless. It just means that your journey to becoming not powerless won't start until you admit that. But I got news for you. If you think you got the power of the universe behind you and you're one of the X-Men or something like that, try jumping off a 25-story building. Let me know how that works. But God gave us moderation.
He, yeah. I mean, how?
Okay, sure. I mean, you and I are protein fiends, and we love to eat our bacon and our steak and our chicken and all that stuff. And there is something to be said about even eating something good in moderation. You don't want to make yourself sick. Sure. God gave us moderation, right? But God would want us to enjoy all these wonderful substances. All's a pretty big word. God made hemlock too, but it doesn't mean you eat it.
I was gonna say, are we supposed to moderate heroin and cocaine?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
And alcohol is a toxin. Period.
toxin.
The end.
Yeah, so it
I
doesn't.
don't think he would want us to drink it.
It doesn't matter. I mean, okay, so you're not an alcoholic, so you're not an addict. Is it wise to put toxins in your body? No. In fact, it's stupid.
Yeah.
You may not be stupid, but the behavior of doing it is stupid. Come on, folks.
Well, is his main thought or point that he does have the power?
Well, I suppose, but he's very, because I've seen some other things that he's written on some other shows. He's very
He's written
anti-12 step
before.
and anti-AA and all that kind
Okay.
of stuff, right? Just
Okay.
seems almost loathes it. The steps are toxic, a toxic, broken system. Well, you know what? What I have discovered about people that say, well, that doesn't work, I ask them this. I go, so tell me the part that doesn't work.
They don't know the steps.
They don't
They've
know
never
the steps.
done
They don't
them.
know the history behind them. They all they have to go by is how people have misrepresented the steps or have taught them wrong. And I
Yeah.
get it. If you've
I
been
would think
taught
that
wrong,
too.
yeah, I would think that too. Absolutely, I get it. If you've been taught that God is a tree, I understand why you say
Or a
that's
doorknob.
baloney. Or a doorknob or
Or
whatever.
the people in your group, please. No.
Yeah, because it's never explained that, this is okay to make a beginning, but you can't stay there. The whole purpose of the steps is to move on from there. We want you to come to a place where you admit that left to your own devices, it isn't going to work too well. And your power right now may be the group because they're supportive or your sponsor or whatever, but you got to move on from there. You can't stay there, but nobody teaches that. We do, but
We do.
and so I get it. If you think that it's toxic, it doesn't work because sometimes it is.
Yeah.
If something's misrepresented and taught wrong, it can be poison. And
Even the Bible, right? Pastors can misinterpret
yeah.
that and make it a prosperity gospel or whatever.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you write back to these people? Because he's not going to watch this. Do you email him back with answers?
Usually, I there's a place on there to reply.
Okay. I'm
You know,
wondering
I
what
would
he
reply
would say
something.
back.
Listen to the whole episode next week. We'll read your response.
Okay. Maybe we could have him on the show. Oh. Wouldn't that be a thing?
Have him on.
Yes. That'd be a scary thing. But I'm just thinking, wouldn't
Hey.
that be interesting?
One of the things I appreciated about Charlie Kirk when he was with us, alive and well, was when he would go to a campus, he would invite the people with opposing views to come to the front of the line.
Right. And have a conversation.
Have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Let's be adults. Let's talk. But so often what would happen is they would come to the front of the line and just spew profanities and emotionalism, but not,
Yep.
If you want to do that, that's fine too. You kind of show your cards when you do that. But if listeners, if you don't agree with us, write
Email
us, Monty, MONTY at CameToBelieveRecovery.org, and we'll read your stuff on the air and we'll talk to you and maybe even have a phone chat and who knows, see where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that at all. All right, well there you go. I guess we can close up the mailbag. Let's see here if I push the right button. Yes.
Thank you for your mail, it means so much. A little piece of you just waiting to clutch.
You got mail.
All righty. The topic this week is asking for help. Sometimes real easy to tell somebody, but not always easy to do, right, Alicia?
Yes. And in preparing and thinking about this, I was thinking of myself, and I'm not very good at asking for help. And then to go even deeper, you might fall in this category. I'm not sure. I'm interested. Why am I not? It's probably my pride. I want to do it myself. I don't want to be weak. I think they're going to say no, so I'm making assumptions. So where do you fall on? Do you find it easy?
No, because I don't need any help.
Exactly. Me too.
See,
Show
that
over.
solves it right there. I don't need help, man. No, it's the thing that wow, we got to get honest here, huh?
With me on the show, you do.
So I kind of look at it this way. And boy, this is pride and ego. This really is when I think about it. And it's fear too. It's like if I tell them that I'm struggling in an area, I make an assumption that they think that I should be beyond that by now.
Because of the podcast and your sobriety years,
Yes.
right? I fall into that exact same boat.
They're not going to receive it well because don't you know that they think I'm better than I am, which translates into maybe I think I'm better than I am. That's a hard pill to swallow.
But then I'm sure you know this, so do I, of once we do share that we struggle too, it opens the door for them to share and to see like we're human too. We're still growing.
Absolutely. It is, I would say almost never has it ever been a negative thing, a bad thing that's come of it when I was transparent. So what am I afraid of? With all the evidence pointing to it's always been a healthy thing to admit to God, myself, and another person
That's the main thing.
the struggle,
Important.
right? And so I've struggled with things before. I mean, it's been obvious that something's wrong, and Marcia will say, oh, "Why don't you call Tim? Why don't you call your sponsor? Why don't you call Danny? Why don't you?" Nah, it's not that big of a deal, really. I'm fine. You know what I mean? And then
And depending on the thing, it could be, right, your ego, you're embarrassed, you don't want to bother them.
yeah. Or again,
You
I
think it's going to
should be
get
further
better.
along than that. So I shouldn't even be struggling with this. So I look in the mirror and I go, you can fix this. Just pray harder. Just read your Bible a little bit more. Just go to an extra meeting.
Which are not bad things.
No, but those are all things we teach other people. It's not enough, right? It's not just, you can't polish up the flesh. You can't work harder doing good works to bring you to a place where you have victory over your struggle. The victory over your struggle comes from full surrender and being accountable to yourself, to God, and another person. And the Bible's clear about that. Salvation is free, but healing comes from confession one to another. So why do we struggle with the confession?
Pride.
It's
Right?
gotta
Even in the big book, it says pocket your pride for the fifth step, right?
go
Pocket
about
your
it, yeah.
pride and go. I still like, ugh, I don't want to say it out loud because it's embarrassing, or it's going to be fine. Tomorrow it'll be fine. And it's not fine.
And we boast, and I'm just speaking for myself. I teach this, I preach this, that it is in my weakness that I am strong. Paul drove that home. When he was talking about dealing with his thorn in the flesh, this thing that wanted to hinder him, but it didn't. It didn't hinder his ministry, but it was bothersome. We don't know what it was exactly. I've got an opinion about what it might have been. Other people and theologians have been discussing it for centuries. But the truth of the matter is, he was constantly asking God to remove this issue, and God kept reminding him, no, my grace is sufficient for you. Lean on my grace, right? And part of grace, I think, Alicia, part of experiencing grace is experiencing it with one another. And so we have people in our lives who we've given permission to call us out anytime they see us going sideways, because we understand the power and accountability. But what about when they don't see us going sideways and we're the only one who knows it? Are we quick to talk to them about it? No, not so much.
Well, that's what 10, 11, and 12 is for, right? But sometimes it takes me longer to really look at it. But eventually, though, if I'm holding in something, I wish I had an example. I'm sure something will come to my head. Eventually, my actions are going to show and people will notice, don't you think? I mean, the ones closest to me.
They're going to know something's up.
Right. So
If it isn't
eventually, I
focused.
think it's going to show itself. Hopefully sooner than later.
And wouldn't we rather pull the covers off of it now?
Well, you say that out loud, but obviously
I know.
no.
I
No.
know, right?
I mean, I've been recovered from eating disorders for 7 years, and I'm still doing I don't have to say that out loud. I'll feel better. No, and I still do it.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't want to say that to my sponsee because I'm the sponsor. I should not still struggle with XYZ, but I do. But yeah, it's an ongoing growth, transformation.
Which when you think, because listeners, we're being pretty transparent here. We struggle with this. Both Alicia and I both do. And
Tom
there
would
are-
hate that word. He hates the word struggle.
I know he does. He struggles
But
with that. He
it's
struggles with struggle.
right. It's a thing. It's a
Well, you know what? But you can't. Okay, I wish he was on right now because here's the Tom. If you're listening, you know the Bible talks about a struggle that went on between a gentleman and an angel. They fought it out until he got his blessing.
right, Jacob, right?
Yep. Yep. And so, okay, like the word struggle, okay, the fight is on, the battle is on, but the battle belongs to the Lord. So why do we keep trying to do it? Because that's part of this thing is trying to fix it ourselves when we know better. You cannot fix what you do not acknowledge. Yes. Step one, for instance.
Right.
You cannot fix what you do not acknowledge. But you can't fix it anyway. And God's a gentleman, and he's not going to step in and fix it for you until you are willing to acknowledge it's an issue. And saying that, and we just did this, and saying that I have an issue with the issue and not doing anything about it is trying to handle it ourselves. It never works. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I think might be irritating to some folks that are listening right now. There are people out there that are ready and willing to ask for help, and they're dying to ask for help, and people aren't taking them seriously. Oh, relatives. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you weren't that drunk. At least you're not falling over the furniture like Uncle Joe at Christmas. You're not that bad. Don't worry about it. Just put the plug in the jug. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and that's sad because that person really needs the help and they're asking the wrong people, but they don't even know that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would bring somebody to make this statement? Make sure I quote him correctly here.
Who him?
Unstoppable Honky. The steps are a toxic, broken system. We don't need them. So that's almost like saying asking for help is a toxic thing. You can do it on your own. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Grow up. You're an adult. Deal with it.
Well, I'm assuming, obviously, because we don't know this person,
Right.
that he doesn't understand the steps, so he's taking it out of context. Just like with people we see and interact with people that have church hurt and they blame God because they're picking things out and they're not understanding and blaming people or blaming God for what people have done. And then so they're taking something and putting it over here when it just doesn't fit together.
Right.
Right? So he thinks he's speaking truth, but he doesn't have the whole truth because he probably doesn't understand the steps, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to talk to somebody like that when they're so stuck in their ways.
Which is sad to me because there's so many there's so much wonderful life experiences that comes from surrendering and realizing that I can't, he can, and
We need to let him.
and we need to let him. And left to my own device, it's not a bad thing. It's not a sign of weakness to say, left to my own devices, I have no power and no ability to behave in any good manner. There's just no good that lives within me, left to me.
But people in this world and our culture are drilled and drilled and drilled into thinking, yes, we can. We deserve it. We can do anything we want. And so we're just fed that through media and social media, TV, people, parents. So it's everywhere. So people don't know.
So it's almost like there's a movement that is determined to keep people sick. You know what I mean? Now we know it's happening in the pharmaceutical industry. We know it's happening in the food and beverage industry, right? But it's also happening spiritually. Within the spiritual movements in different arenas, where
They think they can
almost
fix themselves, or
think they can
if they
fix
just
themselves.
do this, they'll get nirvana or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just jump through this hoop. Just do that. Like I said, just get up earlier, read your Bible earlier in the morning. Be more committed, man.
Which,
Just work,
again,
work,
there's
work.
hints of truth in that, but it's not the thing.
It's not the thing. That's a tool, right? I'm not dependent on the hammer that is building the house. I should be dependent on the shelter of the house, not the hammer that builds the house, right? And so we do that. We become dependent on pastors, on rabbis, on mentors, on gurus, on self-help books. I make the joke that Hazelton Publishing is the largest publisher of self-help books for people whose problem is self-help.
Oh, yeah, they're addicted to self-help.
They're addicted
I
to self-help.
I used to be one of those. I might
My
still
dad
fall
was
into
that
that.
way. He read every single thing that Zig Ziglar and Norman Vincent Peale ever wrote. He
Is that like
memorized.
Dianetics? Diet?
No.
Dia-
That's I can't think of his name off. That's the Scientology guy.
Oh,
But no, Norman Vincent Peale and Zig Ziglar were both Christian men. But and their stuff was good, but my dad had become dependent on it. He memorized the book, The 1 Minute Manager, and there's really good stuff in there. But if you become dependent on the tool and not the tool giver, then you're gonna be lacking. So we ask for help of things that can't fully help us instead of going to the one who makes
Yeah.
himself available to us, but he also instructs us to be available to each other. And that
And
is hard for
ask-
people in recovery because we don't trust each other, right?
well, and that's discernment, right? We don't have to trust everyone, but hopefully going to meetings, going to retreats, going in different communities, we can find a few people because there's certain things of certain people that, I mean, we both know that I would not go to them for some of the things, and other people I would. So I think we need to be careful too. Don't tell everybody everything.
Right.
It's probably not a good idea.
I remember sitting in a church and this pastor who I happened to like him a lot. I didn't know him really well, but I liked him a lot. And he stood up in front of the congregation. The congregation was probably about 150 people. He stood up in front of the congregation and fell to his knees and started weeping. And we're like, what's going on? And he just starts confessing his struggle to the whole congregation. And my first thought was, this
Probably not
guy
a good-
has not sought good counsel
Yeah, that could be a
because
itchy
that is
thing.
not wisdom. You do need to be careful
Discerning.
who you confess certain things to. And
What happened after that?
I think he lost his credibility. In fact, it wasn't. I don't think it was too long after that him and his wife actually moved on.
Which is sad, right? Because we're told to confess. We need to have grace
Right.
for pastors, but yeah, I can see your point.
Yeah, but see, there were people in the church that were mature enough to totally get it, and there are
And
other
others.
people that weren't. That weren't. And part of being responsible for your flock is to know when to be transparent, when not to be, and who to be, and that's why you have accountability to other leadership and that kind of thing. But so we do need, and then in the steps, in step 5, it says one other person. It doesn't say the whole world. It says another human being. That could be more than one, but it doesn't need to be. And it doesn't need to be your sponsor. There's nowhere in the big book that says you need to do step 5 with your sponsor.
Right.
In fact, it doesn't say that. It talks about clergy or people that have legal tender, that kind of thing, that are bound by confidentiality.
I had a deep conversation with my husband the other day, and this topic was kind of brought up, and I was said generally, like, well, like there's certain things for him and I that we would tell each other, but there's certain things that we wouldn't, and he was like, well, what do you mean? And I explained, like, there's certain things, like for me, like husband things or food
Yeah.
things that he just wouldn't understand. And then he got it. But I think sometimes people are like, well, what do you mean? You could talk to me. There's certain things that he would do or think I don't want to know. As his wife, I don't want to know though. You need to talk to somebody else about that. So I think, yeah, there's certain people we could talk to, and certain things, like women should just talk to women about certain things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
men should talk to men about certain things.
We tend in the room of the 12 steppers, our tendency when it talks about sponsoring people of the same sex, we tend to give the reasoning that that's for protection. You don't want to get accused of something that you didn't do or whatever. You want to be wise there. It's probably not a good idea to be, especially in early recovery, hanging out with a member of the opposite sex by yourself,
I think that's true. Don't you?
And I do think that's true, but there's also another reason for it. Women don't think like men do. Men don't think like women do. And so to have somebody who's your sponsor or your mentor who's of the opposite sex, there are certain things you're going to talk about. They're just not going to get it. They're not going to understand it, or they're going to have a struggle with trying to give you proper advice and solutions. Now, does that mean that you can't have a good mental health professional in your life that's a member of the opposite sex? No, I had one. Her name was Diane Conrad. Dr. Conrad was amazing. But there were things we talked about where she said she would suggest that I talk to my sponsor about it because he's a guy. So the sexual thing, yes. But also the fact that we just don't think the same way a lot of times. Have you ever seen that video? It's called "It's Not About the Nail."
No.
Ever seen? It's great. Listeners, if you ever get a chance, go on YouTube and just type in "It's Not About the Nail." But there's this woman. She's talking to her husband, and it's a close-up shot, right? It's just her eyes and her nose and her face, and she's talking to him about the pain that she's in. And she's trying to get him to understand. And so he keeps giving her this advice. Well, just do this and just do that. And this will stop the pain. And the camera pans away from the woman. And there's this huge nail in her head. It's just stuck in her head, and he's going, just pull it out. And she goes, it's not about the nail. Right? Because guys, that's what we do. We see the problem and we want to fix it. But it's not about that. She just wanted him to hear her. That's all. She didn't even want the pain to stop nearly as much as she wanted him to hear her. Just hear me. You don't have to fix me. You don't have to solve the problem. Just let me know that you're hearing me.
You know what's so funny? Whenever I hear a story like that, every single time, and my husband knows this, I do want to be fixed. I'm like the only woman that I don't want to be listened to. Fix me. Tell me what to do. I'm going to do it now perfectly with discipline and grit. Yes, tell me. And none of my friends feel that way. But whenever I hear a story like that, I'm like, no, I want to be fixed.
It is about
Fix
the nail
me.
for you.
It is about the nail. Totally. Fix it. Pull it out.
I'll come hang out with you and I can tell you how to fix your
I
life.
want it. I do. I want to be fixed.
Yeah, but if they gave you the suggestions to fix it, would you do it?
It depends on the thing.
Ah.
Yeah. And if it has to do with exercise and food, I'm not listening to you. No. You know that. I'm not.
Oh my gosh. Surrender, not weakness. You say it is only in realizing our own inadequacy that we come to the sufficiency of God. If the dependence upon God is the objective, if trusting is the objective, the weakness is the advantage. Ooh, that is really good. That's really good.
It is, but even though we know it, I feel I'm not doing it. Like, weakness is an advantage. Ooh, who wants to say that?
Yeah.
No.
If trusting is the objective, weakness is the advantage.
So when our weakness, he is strong and he
Yes.
can do his work. Just like with you said the thorn in the flesh. And what we were talking about, I think it was before the show, like I still get nervous. I am so nervous of talking in front of people, whether it's a minute or 45 minutes. And I know there's ego and pride in there. And I
Yeah.
pray for it to go away. But maybe God is using that as I need to depend on him. And he's not going to take it away, because if he did, then my pride would get even bigger. And I'd be like, look at a great speaker I am. I don't need God. I totally could see that I do that. So maybe maybe that's not biblical, but maybe he's not taking that away because he knows my pride would just get bigger.
Ditto.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Yeah. So people that might be listening or watching this podcast might go, well, you guys do this thing every week and you present and you teach.
Right? But I get nervous.
No, are you sure? You don't seem nervous. You seem fine. Let me tell you, I do too. I'm a bucket of nerves. It's like, so here's something I do. Let me grab it. So in my little hand is the legacy guide, right? Your legacy. Do you know why there's all sorts of scribbles on this?
Because you're nervous.
Do you know why my pages look like this?
Wow. Because you're intelligent and taking notes.
Well, yeah, I believe in note taking, but sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, that was good, that was good, that was good. I'm like, oh okay, but I'm looking at okay, I'm up next, right? So like they're getting done with step 7, so I know I'm up next with step 8. And so I'm fiddling with my page and I'm looking at it and I'm bending it and I'm rereading it. I'm like going, God, help
You're
me
speaking
do
my
this
language.
right.
You're speaking my
and it's like
language.
the Lord's saying, you do that. You've done this. How many times have you done this? And but I no. I still need you. And then I get up there, and it seems to. There's a lot to be said about the atmosphere of the room, right?
You
And
feed off their energy, you mean?
yes. And so, if the joke goes over well, now I'm good.
Yeah.
If it flops, I'm like, oh crap.
God help me. And that's the whole point. God is like, yep, lean on me. Don't lean on the people.
Right. But I'll sit in the pew waiting to go up, and I'm folding this thing and I'm messing with, and I set it down, and then I pick it up again, and I'm just, and it's just
It's a thing. I know.
and I guess really, if God would remove the nervousness and the anticipation and all that stuff from us, if that would prevent us from leaning on him, then I don't want it removed. You know what I mean? If my thorn, because I've had Christians ask me before, so you're allergic to alcohol. That's you say that's alcoholism's a medical term for you now. That's where it's not. It doesn't have you anymore. But you're an alcoholic. You're allergic to the substance. Yeah, I am. I'm allergic to it. Alcoholic. Well, don't you want God to remove that illness? Wouldn't you want him to take it away? You go, nope.
No, because it drew us to him.
because my greatest defect became my strongest asset. And if he would remove that, no, thank you. Because anything that makes me less God dependent, I don't want it in my life. So we need to welcome these things and look at them as advantages.
But in your anxiety or whatever we want to call it, are you praying and looking to him?
Yes, it's a
Or-
mixed bag.
Okay. Because I'm kind of not, and I am, and I'm relying on myself.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It's a mixed bag. I'm looking
Yeah.
at, okay, should I memorize this? Should I memorize it? Instead of asking God, should I memorize this? It's like my sponsor, when he was alive, bless his heart, my sponsor from years ago, his name was Bruce. Bruce would say, he'd say, I get up in the morning and I think to myself, he said, now hear what I'm saying. I think to myself, I need to go over and see Fred. I need to go over and encourage Fred this morning. So I get in my car and I'm on my way over to see Fred. And God softly speaks to my heart and says, you didn't ask me. What makes you think I want you to go see Fred? So thank you for including me in your little plans, Bruce. And I'm like, oh, you're right. I do that. I go, Lord, please join me this morning.
Take
God's
him
going,
along.
what makes you think I want to join you this morning? What makes you think I want to do that? But we go out, we walk out into the world with our agenda without being dependent on him or even asking him, right? So
Yep.
no wonder we're nervous.
Well, but what about the times when I'm going to put you in there because I know that I do pray. I pray to him. I talk to him. He knows. I'm nervous and it doesn't go away. So when you say no wonder I'm nervous, maybe not. Maybe he's like,
Yeah.
no, you're going to keep it because you keep.
Well, that's the human condition, Alicia. We were never promised deliverance from this stuff. And for those who aren't watching, I'm pinching my arm.
Your
The
flesh.
We were never promised deliverance from the flesh in this side of heaven.
Yep.
It's our cross to bear, really.
And honestly, I mean, this is for me. I don't know if it's for you. Underneath mine is pride. I want people to like me. I want to say the right thing. I want them to get it. I want them to think I'm a great speaker. And me. It's all about Alicia. And it's so hard, especially, and I know you might be, I'm going to say maybe in the same boat because I get compliments, not every time, but I do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, see, I am good. And then that bites me in the butt because if I don't get compliments, then I feel like I suck.
I ain't copping to nothing here.
I'm just saying that's my truth. And it's like sometimes I pray, God, please don't let anybody compliment me. Don't, because it goes right to my head. And then
that learning to take a compliment, that's especially when you're ego-centered like we are. I'm dittoing everything you're saying. Yeah, me too. But it's difficult. Because part of me thinks I'm doing something wrong if I receive the compliment, and part of me feels hurt if I don't.
exactly. So what do we do with that?
I know.
Give
Well,
God the glory.
my sponsor Doug years ago would say 2 words, Monty. Thank you.
Oh,
What?
just say thank you and
Well, that's not good enough. That doesn't show off how grateful I am.
yes.
But that's enough. That's enough. When somebody compliments you, thank you. I appreciate that. What I mean? That's all you need to do. And is it wrong to bask in that a little bit? I don't know that it is. You know what? our parents used to tell us, right? Well, don't let it go to your head. It doesn't mean
Yeah, but that's my problem because it goes to my head.
so it's okay to accept it, but we don't want to let it ruminate in our head too long, right? Because then we start thinking that we don't need him.
But then where's the line of like, I'm just going to say it. You and I are great speakers. We are.
Aw. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So what do we do with that? Just give God the glory and
And we're
move
good at what we
on.
do. Yeah, so I used to tell the guys at Team Challenge, they would say, how do I take, when somebody compliments you, I say, listen, it's okay to take the credit for it, but give God the glory. It's okay to say, wow, Monty, you did a good job with that. That was a pretty good presentation this time. Not quite like last week's, but you stepped it up. Good job. But don't forget to pass that on to
Give
God's
God the
glory.
glory.
And Lord, it is because of you that I'm able to do any good thing. It's because of you. But it's all right. I think it's okay to say, to
I did pretty
it's okay.
good.
I did good. Because God doesn't create junk, right? If God is the one powering us through it, if He's the one speaking through us, then to some degree He's trusting us, and we shouldn't be beating ourselves up saying, "Man, that was lousy."
Yeah. Well, that's when humility. Right when you said that, it's like. The humility of it, right? Because you and I both have been to many Salvation Armies.
Yeah.
And God has given us that opportunity to be in front of all those people
I know.
in all these different places. It's like, if we really think about that, like, I am not worthy. Oh my gosh. So I think that's the space that we need to continue to come back to.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. And then this year and years to come, like Tom is in Florida right now because of huge things are coming.
Yes.
Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing. And wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good word. Wow.
Well, we're out of time. The sound clip at the very beginning of the show, did you recognize it?
Oh, was it Seinfeld?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Very good.
I was going to say Taxi or Seinfeld.
Let me get my bell. Yay. Get the cowbell. And because Tom's not here today, he gets that.
But next week we'll be on with more people.
Yeah,
The
we'll be on
two
with more people.
sober girls. Is that
Two
what they're
sober
called?
girls. Yes. Yes, ma'am. And so, just so the listeners know, Came to Believe Recovery podcast is a production of Take 12 Recovery Radio. Please visit our website at take12radio.com for many other shows. Our Monday show, we're doing a snapshot of the steps. What I mean by that is we did step one this last Monday. Roger McDermott and Dion Miller and myself are talking about our own personal experience with each step. It's not an in-depth study. It's not a directive on how to do the step. It's just some personal experience around that step. It's a snapshot. So if you'd like to join us for that, that's on Mondays. Of course, all of our shows are archived at take12radio.com. Click on any of the podcasting platforms listed there. If you want to go directly to this show, you can always go to cametobelieverecovery.org. It's the very first thing you'll see when you go to the website. Just click on the listen button, and there you'll have it. I do want to mention before we go the virtual retreat coming up. Listen, folks, we want to give you an opportunity. If you've never done this, if you've never walked through the steps and learned how to apply and implement these 12 spiritual disciplines, you really need to take advantage of this thing. And we've got a special thing going on for you right now. There is a registration fee of $50 for this. But if you struggle and you're not able to do that, we don't want you to miss out on this thing. It's only $1. It's only $1. I got permission yesterday during our Zoom team meeting to be able to announce that to you guys, so you don't have to email me. Go to cametobelieverecovery.org and I'm putting it up right now. There'll be a graphic coming up that gives you the instructions on what to do.
There's a code, right?
Yeah. So you what you do is and the graphic shows this right now if you're watching, but if you're listening only, listen to me close. Go to cametobelieverecovery.org, click on the events link, and the first one you'll see, it'll say Jumpstart Your Recovery, I think, is what it is. And click on event details, and there will be the page where you can register. And what you want to do, where you put in the special code, you want to put in CTBR 100. That stands for Came to Believe Recovery 100. CTBR 100. You put that in there, it'll only charge you $1 for it. If you'd like to donate more, please feel free to do that. We would appreciate it very, very much. But we don't want you to miss out on this retreat. It's going to be Friday, this Friday coming up.
January 9th.
January
and
9th and Saturday, January 10th. We're going to take you through all the 12 steps. And it's not going to be a snapshot. It is going to be in depth, but we're going to be able to do it in 2 days. They did it back in the day when the success rate was so high. Why not do it when the success rate was so high? Do it the same way they did it, right? Kind of a no-brainer. So we want you to experience that. And then you'll know how to take other people through the steps so they can live in a state of recovered and not stay sick. There you go.
And Monty and I both are teaching steps, so you should come just for that.
Yeah, there you go. Which steps are you
Because
teaching
we're
on?
really great speakers.
That's right. What steps you teaching on, Alicia?
3, 5, and 11.
3, 5, and 11. I'm doing 8, 9, and 12. Yep. And we have some other wonderful speakers and teachers that are going to be doing the other ones as well. So it's a great opportunity for you guys. Please don't miss it out. CameToBelieveRecovery.org and the code CTBR100 and $1.
$1 to be recovered. Come on, you guys.
Yeah. Well, you're charging to do the steps. No, we're not. We've got expenses that have to be paid. Listen, if you ever go to an AA service convention, if you ever go to an NA convention, or a Celebrate Recovery World Convention or District Convention, you pay a registration fee.
Right.
You pay a registration fee.
Yes.
Well, don't give me this, or you're charging for the steps. No, we're not charging for the steps.
No. No.
That's not the case at all. Okay. All right. Closing thoughts, Alicia.
Ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Here is our closing song. It's by Unspoken Music. It's called, interestingly enough, God Help Me. And then I'll come back with my closing thoughts. Here's God Help Me.
When I'm at my end, tears pouring down, and I can't see past what's in front of me now. When it's all too much for this heart to take, there's one name I call, one prayer that I pray. God help me now. Feels like there's no way out, but Jesus, you're faithful and able, and you've never once let me down. God help me now. me now. Feels like there's no way out. But Jesus, you're faithful and able, and you never once let me down. Ooh, God help me now. God help me now.
Asking for help is not a sign of weakness because it requires honesty, self-awareness, and courage. It means recognizing that no one succeeds entirely on their own and that growth often comes from learning with and from others. Admitting you need support takes strength, especially in a culture that often glorifies self-reliance and perfection. When someone asks for help, they are choosing progress over pride and truth over denial, which are powerful acts of resilience. In reality, seeking help is how people solve problems, heal, and move forward. Every major achievement, whether personal, professional, or creative, rests on collaboration, guidance, and shared wisdom. Asking for help builds connection and trust, reminding us that we are not meant to carry everything alone. Far from diminishing a person, it demonstrates maturity and a commitment to becoming healthier, wiser, and more capable. It's something to think about. Came to Believe Recovery strives to create and promote opportunities for life-changing spiritual experiences for individuals and families suffering from all forms of addiction. For more information, help, and support, visit cametobelieverecovery.org. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be your host on this episode of the Came to Believe Recovery podcast. And I would encourage you to like, bookmark, and subscribe to this show. When you do, you will join the Take 12 Recovery Radio family and will be notified of all of our recovery-focused shows throughout the week. Until our next broadcast, when we provide the essential spiritual tools needed to thrive by sharing our experience, our strength, and our hope through our stories of how we came to believe.
This has been a production of Take 12 Recovery Radio.
Yeah, kitty, kitty, kitty. Meow.
Woof, woof.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.